Hey, what's up, Secret Knowledge? 75. Yeah. All right. If this is your first Q&A with the OG of Sorcery, here's how it works. You can ask whatever it is that you want. Ideally, you keep the questions centered around magic, but if you want to ask questions about something else that you think I can answer or you want to hear my opinion about, you can definitely ask that too. But let's cover some magic questions as well, right? And if you before you know how that works, just keep posting your questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. Hey Frank, what's up, Milikini? It's been a while since you. It's been a while since you've been on, right, Milikini? Hey, what's up, OG of Sorcery? The Bronze Dawn, King of the Ring. Certainly not a martyr. Favorite sorcerer, exactly. The Bronze Dawn, exactly. That's what I am. That's what they called me. Back in the days when I was still in organized crime, they called me the Bronze Dawn. But then I had to escape from law enforcement. Yeah. Raw plant-based diet help with magic. It can, yes, it can help with magic. Anything that helps raise your vibration. And plants do that. They tend to do that, absolutely. Which element is resonant with the void energies? Oh. Which element? Good question. Which element? I would say fire for the most part. Probably fire, right? Because fire is it's a great helps transition a lot, So the void is also something that you can use to transcend, to sublimate yourself. Okay, and when you use fire, you can sublimate other elements. You can turn them from one phase into the next. So if you have to use a fire, if you have to use an element there, I would use fire. Yeah. Wow, 18 people. Okay. I'm just waiting for 20. Guys, you can already ask whatever it is that you want. Now, first and foremost, don't forget this month we got a seminar. It's a psychic self-defense or psychic protection seminar. If you're missing out on that, god damn it, this shit is not coming back. It's not coming back. Okay. So if you can in any way, shape, or form, make it happen. Make it to that seminar. Okay. Even if you got to make payments, even if you do whatever it takes to be on that seminar, because if not, you're going to miss out on things that are potentially going to save you from lots and lots of trouble. Okay. You don't want to be in situations where you don't know how to handle things, energies that you called. Okay. You want to do magic, you need to know how to do it safely. All right. I'm going to say safely. There will still be risks. There will always be risks, but at least you want to get rid of the biggest risks. You don't want to be, you don't want to, you don't want to risk things that are unnecessary to risk. Okay. There is a way, and I like that metaphor. I like that metaphor a lot. There is a way to practice magic that is as safe as driving a car. So as much danger as you have with driving a car. But the way most people practice it, um, it's not that. You know what's funny? Most people that get into magic, they do it because they want power and influence and money. I tell you what, for the most part, a magical lodge, I mean the ones that are accessible to most people, you're not gonna find that in the magical lodge. Okay. So most people that practice magic, they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. And they use the excuse of, oh man, I'm doing theurgy, I'm doing ascent work or ascension work. I'm more concerned with um, elevated stuff. Don't bother me with this mundane, filthy stuff. I think they're just full of it. They ain't got a clue. Hey Frank, good to see you. Does acupuncture to the yin tang middle of the eyebrow help activate the third eye? I just started seeing an acupuncturist. Um, does it help with the third eye? Look, when it comes to perceiving spirits, don't be obsessed with the third eye, because the third eye is part of an energy system. All right. So for Shushumna to open, which is basically where you got Ida and Pingala, right? And in the center, you got Shushumna, which is where the energy can rise, right? On the path of Shushumna, you got the chakras, right? But they have to be built upon each other, okay? So you cannot open the third eye unless the other ones are sufficiently working. So you should never work on just one, all right? Don't just work on one. Acupuncture will help you. I mean, I'm a fan of acupuncture. It's been a long time since I've been in a session like that, but you can definitely get rid of a lot of energetic blocks. So I definitely recommend that you do it. But um, I'm not completely sure if that's going to be a solution to that thing, because you need to build up your entire energy system. You know, from the bottom to the top. So you work on all of them at the same time. And yes, acupuncture can help with that. Necro Nikki, hello. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Long time no talk. Long time no speak. What is a way to find out the what value you can provide to the world? What is a way to find out what value you can provide to the world? Particularly. Well, what what are you good at? You know, what are you good at? That's that's the value. What do people request from you? What do people comment on? What do people make use of? And people are very honest. They will tell you if what you're doing is helpful and what's not. Because look, I mean, we're all built for reciprocity, aren't we? You know. Um, I was reading a book on manipulation today, and I mean, there were very interesting things included there. But one of the things that he used as an example of manipulation, I don't think is manipulation at all. It was basically using reciprocity, because we're built like that. We're basically, if somebody helps us out, we want to reciprocate, right? So if you are doing something of value for somebody or to somebody, they will reciprocate in some way or another. Okay. That could be talking nicely about you, that could be giving you something in return, whatever. In some way or another, people are going to reciprocate. Okay. And that's what you have to look at. Where do people comment? Well, that's good. Thank you. That really helped me. People are very honest when it comes to that. Are there dark shadow magicians hidden among us, pulling strings behind the scenes? Uh, yeah, yeah, but I mean, what you could call them is invisible masters. That's basically the way you could you could call them. I mean, when you look at the entire esoteric history, to the extent that we know it, okay, at least this leads back to at least ancient Egypt, and they say that it's even older than that. You will find that the initiates of certain religious sects of different, occult orders, they didn't call it back then like that, but basically there's a tradition of mystery schools, okay, that can be traced back to ancient Egypt and even earlier than that. And mystery schools are always structured in a way where there's an inner core, which is the center, and then there's layers on top of that. Okay, so if you are coming into the mystery school, you're at the outer layer. Okay, and you're entitled to know certain secrets at that point, and then through initiation and through earning your way up, you can progress into the center where where more and more mysteries are revealed to you. Now, when it comes to these orders, they're often very vampiric, and hierarchical. What does that mean? People in the outer layers of these mystery schools are generally only there to feed the egregory of the entire mystery school. All right. Now, when you look at the history of mankind, you will continuously and oftentimes see that key figures in history that had a connection to occult circles, these esoteric orders that I just mentioned, they were influenced and contacted by um, interdimensionals, you could say, okay? Interdimensionals. So these interdimensionals basically influence history from behind the scenes, you could say. They're probably behind the UFO phenomena, okay? And they are probably a lot of the, they're probably a lot of the, what's the word? A lot of the spirits and demons that we call are probably these interdimensionals. Okay, so the bottom line is there are forces behind the scenes that have created and designed not just our species, okay, but also a uh, a matrix, you could say, a reality prison that we're trapped in, unless we can escape from it and transcend it. And that's what we do with spiritual practices. But there is definitely a hidden hand, a hidden intelligence behind the scenes that is influencing uh, human history. Okay, um, there's so many examples, man. So many examples. Uh, Literally, I mean, if you want to know more in depth about that stuff, you can ask me. I'm just not going to go into that because there are literally too many examples to mention here, and I don't want to take up the entire live stream talking about that stuff. All right. So many, so many, so many comments here. Okay. Yeah, Wasi just posted the link for the seminar. You want to be on the seminar, guys? Seriously. Uh, all right. What do you think of the elites declaring war on February 22nd, 2022 at 2:22 p.m.? This is the conjunction of Pluto. Last time this happened was in 7076. We know their agenda is rooted in numerology. Very likely. Or if not likely, it's good. I mean, there's something that's going to happen in the next couple of days. I believe so. Um, but it's not necessarily just about an esoteric agenda. Okay. Well, there might be an esoteric part of it, but I think for the most part, it's about geostrategic uh, interests. Okay. I mean, you all heard about the situation in Ukraine right now, right? Have you? Well, what's going on there is essentially um, Ukraine is the neighbor of Russia. Okay. And Russia has a problem with Ukraine becoming fully independent, which is understandable because NATO NATO is expanding towards the east. Okay, what that means is that's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. You got the U.S. there. You got basically their allies all over the world, and they're expanding further east. Ukraine is bordering Russia. Okay, so if they have Ukraine join NATO, you could basically say that U.S. military is at the right next to Russia. Okay, how would the U.S. react if Russia had troops in Mexico? You know, that's crazy, right? So yeah, Russia is in a pretty bad situation here because they gotta stop expanding. Plus, the U.S. is in a lot of trouble. All right, and they need a war. They need a war. The U.S. needs a war because that's business. That's big business. Okay, that's going to reduce unemployment. You all heard about the military-industrial complex, right? And yeah, so yeah, I mean that war would have happened earlier if Trump had not been in office, for sure. Pretty sure about that. But now Joe Biden's in office, and the old agenda can continue. All right. I hope this channel doesn't get shut down for what I just said. But I've been shadow banned for years now, so I don't give a fuck anymore. Who cares? Um, does doing the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram within the proximity of sigils I've created affect the sigils in any way, like causing them to lose the energy I've put into them? No, they don't. It works like this. What are you doing when you're using a sigil? Okay, so let's say I'm creating a sigil here for a specific intention. Boom. All right, this is a sigil for a specific intention. When I charge a sigil, the energy is not in the sigil. Okay, what I'm creating is I'm creating a thought form. We have a field of energy, a field of consciousness that is permeating everything. All right, your awareness can interact with this field, and based on that interaction, you could call it a field uplink. You can take your consciousness wherever you go, wherever you want to go. Okay, so that's basically what's behind astral travel, what's behind precognition, what's behind remote viewing. You can take your consciousness wherever you want because you can link up to a field that is everywhere, and that is the nature of everything. In fact, we perceive the world as separate physical objects, right? But it's actually just a field of consciousness that is vibrating at different frequencies. Okay, so one frequency that it's vibrating at is the pen, right? Another frequency that it's vibrating at is myself, my physical body, right? Another frequency that it's vibrating at is you. So what you need to do is you go into an altered state where you are linked up to this field of consciousness, and then you can influence things remotely. You can bring things into existence by creating energy fields, and these energy fields then interact with non-physical reality and bring things about in the physical as a result of that. Okay, so when I have a sigil, this is just a reminder of an idea. The idea is a thought form. So I have that as a focus point, and I focus my energy and intention on this thought form. So the energy is not necessarily in a sigil. Now, there is some power to sigils because it's kind of like an anchor in the physical. It's an anchor. Okay, so it kind of like it solidifies it a little bit, but you could rip a sigil right after the ritual, and the ritual might still come about. So the power is not in the sigil. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you here. And so answering your question, no, the sigil is not going to lose its power because you're doing a banishing ritual next to it. Because that energy is not in your surroundings. You know what I mean? It's in another dimension. It will bleed into physical reality, but later. Okay. E. Marie says, hold on. Thanks, Frank. I'm up past my throat chakra. Thank you for your opinion. I'm excited to continue. That's the attitude, exactly. This is a journey, guys. This is a journey. It's not about, oh, this. Just see it as a journey. It's part of life, man. It's an exciting adventure. Okay, Gematria has very interesting comments. All right. Frank, are some of these aliens that people on YouTube so-called channel actually cloaked spirits with another agenda? Yes, 100%. A lot of them are. A lot of them are. Yep. If you ever heard of him, any thoughts on Neville Goddard's feeling is the secret? I've heard of that actually. I've heard of that. Um, I heard that he has a very Christian perspective, right? No, but a lot of the stuff that he says apparently is pretty good, especially his law of reversal. I like that a lot. His law of reversal is really good. So yeah, I think there's some validity to what he says. It's all for entertainment purposes. Necro Nikki says I'm a solo shadow sorcerer. Okay. One sec. Next question here. Is it true you have to forget sigils for them to work? That's a good question. Look, here's how it works. There's this thing that we say where sigils have to become flesh. What does that mean? When you perceive with your inner senses the reality of what you're trying to create, it is probably going to come about. All right. So that's a good indicator if a spell is gonna happen or not. Now, what does that mean? Making sigils flesh. There's an interface between the spirit world and our physical body, okay, which is the autonomous nervous system. The autonomous nervous system is the interface between our nervous system, which is our physical body, and our aura and the spirit worlds. Okay, so when you can visualize something strong enough so that you feel it in your physical body and experience it in your physical body, at the same time you're transporting it into your subconscious, your autonomous nervous system, and through that into the energy fields around us. Okay, so at that point, by definition, it's in your subconscious. And something that is in your subconscious, you're not consciously contemplating, you see? That's why if somebody creates a spell and is constantly thinking about the spell and when it's going to happen, if it's going to happen, and so on and so forth, you have not inserted that, or you have not uh, put it into your subconscious mind so that it can take magical effects. Okay? So um it's you will have forgotten the spell if it's an actually powerful spell. You will not think about it. Totally forgetting is not the point. It's about not constantly thinking about, is it going to happen now? Is it going to happen there? In fact, you're not going to give a shit about it anymore. You're not going to care. It's not going to be in your conscious awareness. You see. And that's really what it is about. That's how you make things happen. Okay. I hope that answers your question. Mm, could you use a sigil to charge water with intent? Yes, you can do that. What type of spirits are shadow people? Um, not very conscious, not very aware. I don't know if there's a category for them. You know, it doesn't take much to create a little, critter, little imp with a little bit of awareness and consciousness, but it's not. I wouldn't even call that consciousness. It's more like um, a self-maintaining and self-preserving thought form. That's what it is. This is, yeah, that's what I would call that. Is the Vatican the most magical place in the world? Well, depends on your definition of what magical means. It is said that the largest collection of magical books is in the Library of the Vatican. Right? Also, the largest collection of pornography, by the way, too. I don't know if that makes the place magical. Up to you. What is the process of initiating through the Sephiroth, and what are the benefits? Well, it's the same with each and every other magical system. Okay, so in this case, we're talking about the Kabbalah. Okay, which is the verbal tradition of Jewish mysticism, right? And in that context, we're talking about the tree of life. So the tree of life, um, the tree of life is a map, a symbolic map of the spiritual universes as well as the human soul. Okay. So what you do is you work with the energies of those different spheres step by step by step. And then you integrate them, integrate those energies. What would be a good analogy? Let me give you an example. Um, the best example, the best example, uh, the best example would probably be the best example would probably be. Let me see. Hmm. Oh, would be a good example. Let's say you deal with. Give me one sec. All right. So I had to take care of something. Anyways, okay. So what were we talking about? The tree of life. Okay. So when you deal with a specific energy, how do you um, use that in a path working? In NLP, you would call that going from unconscious incompetence to uh, unconscious competence. Okay, so there are three stages when it comes to any skill and any ability. Okay, number one is you are not aware that you don't know something, and you're not aware of a skill. All right, and then you meet somebody that actually has that ability. Okay, good. Now, then you go from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence. What does that mean? You become aware that you can't do that. You are not in possession of that skill, right? Good. In the next step, You go from conscious incompetence into practice, and then you go from to conscious competence where you know the skill, but it's still not very automatic. All right, and then as you keep practicing, it becomes an unconscious competence. You automatically do it right. You automatically do it right, right? And you can see that same process happening when it comes to um, you can see the same process happening when you work with different energies. Okay, they you work with them, you master them, you invoke them in some way or another, and then sooner or later you uh, they become part of your arsenal, if you will. Okay, it's all about growth of consciousness. It's about growing as a person, growing as a spiritual being. You see, and that happens when an energy goes from you become aware of the energy to now it's part of your being, if that makes sense, and you can use it. Is it true that deities are big hive minds made up of all the minds or all the memory of planetary entities? That's speculation. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about that. That's complete theory. Where can I find the name Moses used to constrain the jinn in that tradition? I heard there was a little known name, but I'm not sure where to investigate. Well, you could have evoke Moses and ask him yourself. How do you stop self-sabotaging thoughts that affect your manifestation? Because those thoughts are manifesting something that's exactly opposite to the things that you want. Control your self-talk. Control your self-talk. That's probably the best way to do it. See, you want you guys. What's the word, man? You take your thoughts way too serious. Okay, your thoughts are just thoughts. Your thoughts are not going to make shit happen. All right, it's thinking about a supernova. Is that going to cause a supernova? So what you need to do is, in order to have an effect magically, you need to have a thought with a lot of oomph. What is a thought with a lot of oomph? A thought with a lot of oomph is essentially you bring a mental image or a mental experience into the subconscious, and you do that by, like I said earlier, you visualize it so clearly and you make it so clear to yourself that it affects your autonomous nervous system, meaning you experience it internally as if it was real, and at that point it can have an effect on the spirit worlds. Okay, but just thinking a thought is not going to do anything. It's not going to do that much. Even thinking thousands of thoughts, okay, thinking thousands of thoughts, for the most part they're not going to do that much. Is it? I mean, based on that logic, just, I don't know, man. Thinking of all the things that you think about manifesting, I don't think that's the case, is it? You see? So just don't worry about that too much. Let's start a meditation routine. Meditate and control your self-talk. All right. For example, I want a girl to fall in love with me, and I'm even writing this affirmation that she's in love with me. But when I'm not writing that affirmation, I think the exact opposite. Yeah, but look, sometimes, especially when it comes to this love spell stuff, sometimes maybe, maybe a love spell is not the best way to go. You see what I mean? Maybe magic is not the best way to go. You know, I tell you what's never going to happen. Okay, I tell you something that's never going to happen. She's a super hot girl, and he's a dork. He's a dork. He's like a fucking. He's just a nerd that no woman would touch voluntarily. No amount of fucking magic is gonna get him that girl. Forget about like just forget about it at that point. And I'm not saying that you are that dork. Okay, that's don't take it the wrong way. That's not what I'm saying. But my point is, but my point is, um, in a lot of ways, women give you like what's the word? Um, Authentic feedback. And there is a way to become a guy where women act like guys. You see what I mean? Usually women are kind of like the prize, right? Women are after that guy and they try um, to get him. I'm sorry, to get her. Okay, guys become creepy. Guys stare. Guys do this and that and the other. There is a way to turn that and to do the other to flip that, where women become creepy. I've seen it myself. Trust me, it works. You can't make that happen, but sometimes magic is not the best way to do that. Okay. Plus, it's very subjective. In my experience, women always want a guy that they consider an alpha in their specific field, in their world. Okay, in their universe. So different women are going to go for different guys. Okay, she's a businesswoman. She's going to go for a guy that's like the CEO of this big company. That's what she's going to find attractive. But if um, she's a skater girl or whatever, she's not going to find that attractive. Okay. So even if the guy is good looking, even if the guy has all of those skills, he's not gonna get her. Women are way more selective than us, you know. So I would just focus on other things when it comes to women, okay? Instead of try to put a spell on her. It's gonna make you feel better too. It's a journey. Right? And you should not go for every woman that is beautiful or hot. That's ridiculous. Okay. There's so many beautiful, beautiful women out there. Just and another thing is, why should you chase something? Why should you chase something? At the end of the day, it's useless. If she doesn't want you, there's nothing in the world that you can do to make her want you. Like, okay, so you can't talk her into that. You can't convince her. You can't give her arguments. You should be with me. All that you can do is level up until she wants you. That's really the way to do it. Okay, she has to want you, and you got to do that by improving self. That's the only way to do it. And then you earn them. You deserve them. Women, in a lot of ways, are the gatekeepers, and they are. When I say gatekeepers, gatekeepers to sex, they represent Mother Nature. They represent Mother Nature's judgment on you. Okay. So if you're not getting her, Mother Nature is telling you you're not worth her. You're not worth it. That's basically what it is. Okay. And as much as we try to argue that, as much as we try to fight that, that's it. Women have the choice. Women have the choice. It is what it is. You see what I mean? So you can't argue with that. So if a woman wants you, boom, good. You have earned it. Doesn't mean you have to take her or have her, whatever. But if a woman doesn't want you, it's not her fault. Okay, it's you. If you want her and you can't have her, then there's a disconnect that you can only change by changing yourself. You see, there's no point in changing her. That does not work long term at all. Doesn't work. Okay. Um, Frank, what your workouts like now? Do weights help you better than cardio for your body type? Help me better. Yeah, I do weights. I do weights. So you see that I was actually training earlier on that thing, on that bench. Um, yeah. I'm trying to lose body fat right now. I'm not I'm not so much interested in building muscles. Uh, I want to lose body fat, so I'm cutting. You could say, okay, I'm cutting right now. And yes, weights. Everybody should do weight training. I believe everybody and cardio as well. Okay. Um, do lucid dreams take place in the astral dimension? Yes, they do. So the power in the spell lies in the clarity of visualization. You could say that, yeah. Affirmations only work if your subconscious mind accepts them. Yeah, and repetition is going to make sure that the subconscious mind accepts them. So your subconscious is going to accept any affirmation, but you have to drill it in. It takes time. It takes time. Why do men have scarcity with women, but women have abundance with men? Yeah, 'cause women are selective when it comes to sex. Women are selective. Women have the choice; they can choose. It's penis or dick has no value to them at all. Like very little value. Why? Because they can have dick anywhere. Seriously, anywhere. Well, what would you feel like if you could just walk down the street and pretty much almost every guy, okay, if you're decent looking as a woman, you could walk down the street and almost every guy that you talk to, you could have sex with. Yeah, but that's what a man would do. But women don't do that because women are selective because they carry a lot of risk if they have sex. Even though we have birth control, so the risk is much smaller now. But I would guess I'm not a woman, but I would guess that they still feel danger when having sex, if that makes sense. So they wouldn't, in most cases, most women would not have sex with random guys. I would say, unless they're intoxicated or another thing. So women are more selective, generally speaking. So that's why, you know. And if you would ask most women, by the way, I don't think they would say that they have an abundance with men. Most women that you would talk to, they probably tell you that most guys are unattractive and dorks, or they wouldn't say it like that, but they would not tell you that. Oh my God, there's just an abundance of super hot guys out there. I don't think there's any woman who would say that. Why? Because women are extremely selective. So it's very hard to get a woman to think that you're hot. It's super hard. It's super hard. Even look, there's this incredible analogy that I heard the other day. It's basically for men, attraction is a switch. So you switch on the attraction for a guy just by looks. Men are very visual. Within a second, I know if a girl is hot or not. If I'm attracted to her, I like that. I know that right away. Okay, and I'm mainly attracted to the physical body. Yes, the personality can fuck it up for me afterwards. So if the personality is shit, I don't care about the body, right? But for women, it's a dial. For women, it's a dial. So a woman can not like if she's not completely grossed out by you, you still have a chance of turning her on. Okay, so I think the best strategy that us as guys should use is just be presentable, be clean. I think being clean is much more important than being good looking, handsome or whatever. Try to get in shape, try to be clean, presentable. Okay, so clothes are way more important than looks. At least that's my theory. If any women agree or disagree, you're welcome to state your opinion, right? But then it's more about yeah, it's like a dial. You can change her attraction for you through your actions and what you say and all of these things. So it's not static. So you will never hear that a guy tells a girl, "Wow, in the beginning, I was not attracted to you at all, but now since I saw that you're really impressive and you're smart and then all of that stuff, now I'm super attracted to you." That's not gonna happen, almost never. Or but for women, that might happen quite a bit. So my current girlfriend tells me, like, if I ask her, right, like, "How did you see me in the beginning? Were you like interested in me, and then did you find me attractive?" She's like, "Ah, I just didn't see you that way." Yeah, she didn't see me that way because she looks through a filter. You see what I mean? She looks through a filter. Oh, he's that guy. Boom, in that category. And then step by step, you change what category you're in, right? And then you make her see you through this lens of incredible love, admiration, and desire. Okay, and then she's gonna perceive you differently. So it's like a dial, like a dial. Anyways, does it sound like a crazy idea to speak to your subconscious mind as a separate individual? No, it's actually a very good strategy. I like that. Look, when I use affirmations or stuff like that, I I don't say I am. I don't say you are. I say we are because in reality, we don't just have one personality. We have different parts to our personality. Okay, and this is the key and the core of all human suffering. It's these different personalities, not in a schizophrenic way. That's not what I'm talking about, but more in a we have different aspects to the self, and these are competing with each other. Okay. All right, and they all want to be heard. They all want to be taken care of. They all want to be integrated. So when I use affirmations, I say we are dot dot dot. We are dot dot dot. We are dot dot dot, and that gives much greater results. Okay. I mean, yeah. Do you believe in cities such as levitation and materialization, etc., are real? Yes, 100%. If you become possessed by any spirit, does the powers of the spirit become yours? No, absolutely not. I did some weights today in cross training. I want to lose weight and get fit. I changed my diet, but I realized I had new muscle, a lot of body strength from yoga. I'm going to do keto in a few days. Good for you. It's um gonna make you lose weight. When you meditate on a sigil you've made for your servitor, do you envision sending your energy to your servitor for their goal you made them for? Okay, that question is worded a little bit weird, but generally speaking, it's enough if you just focus on. I mean, the servitor is usually created for one specific outcome, not sorry, one specific job that he's supposed to do. I don't think it makes sense to create a servitor for one specific outcome that you want to create. So a servitor is usually something that you want to keep going and want to keep feeding so that it works on your behalf, right? So um, it will be enough to feed energy to the servitor. Hold on, Frank. You, like 90% of women, majority of women think you're hot. That's surprising. Your GF didn't think you was hot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. Well, all I can do is believe her. Maybe she's lying to me there, but who gives a shit? You know. Besides that, like what would it sound like if she's like, "Yes, I was all over you from the first moment." All right, that's kind of weird. She was scared of me more than anything. She was scared of me. That's what I know. Or scared of what I do. She thought I was a devil worshiper and all that stuff. I think, yeah. And she would be a fool because she's listening. You would be a fool to stop fearing me. You hear that? You hear me? You'd be a fool to stop fearing me. You better fear me. Shut up that part of our psyche that how do you shut off that part of our psyche that zealously commands respect and takes itself too seriously, which at least in my case has been the cause of great suffering? Uh, I don't believe in this letting go of ego bullshit. I don't believe that's good. You need a strong ego, and good ego or a strong ego gives you standards, and it makes sure that you perform. What if you had no ego? What if you had look? What if you had no ego? What if you have no ego and you just have a very low opinion about yourself? You think that's going to help anyone? First of all, you're going to fuck up your own life if you have a low opinion about yourself. So you're going to have no ambition. You're going to have no standards, and you're not going to be of use to anyone in the world. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. You can be full of yourself and completely delusional at the same time. That's wrong. That's bad. But if you have a high opinion about yourself, big ego, but that ego forces you to act in an ethical way, to hold yourself to high standards, and to do your best to help other people around you because that's your self-image and that's your ego. I don't think that's a bad thing. You see, I think the problem these days is that people have no purpose, they have no honor, and they have no self-esteem. 100%. That's the biggest problem that we have nowadays. 100%. People have, and I'm not talking about this fucking TikTok and Instagram shaking your booty confidence. I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about actually um, low self esteem in a sense that people, um, what's the word? Well, let's keep it at that. I don't want to go into that. Let's not talk about that. Not that important. How do we know when we have put enough energy into something, or do we just keep going till it manifests? Yeah, just visualize until you clearly experience it internally. You never even talk about, okay, this is a comment that most people can't see because it's got profanity in there. Okay. By the way, guys, it's useless to post a comment that contains profanity because YouTube automatically blocks it. Okay. And I'm being asked if I want to show it or not. No, I'm not going to show that. Because the comment is, you never even talk about the Illuminati and kind of shit. You always refrain from talking about this shit. Why? Because I'm not here to entertain that bullshit. Okay. I'm not saying it's complete bullshit, but I mean, what use is that going to make? Here's something I can tell you about psychological phenomena, my friend. There are two types of people in this world, okay? There are people that deal with things in their circle of control or circle of influence. And there are people who deal with things that are outside of their circle of influence. Yeah, outside of their circle of influence. So it also is a general rule that people who deal with things that are outside of their circle of influence generally do that because things inside of their circle of influence, meaning their own personal life, is not that great, and it's usually not under their control. So it's much easier to deal with things that are hypothetical, theoretical, and all that stuff, because that gives them the feeling of doing something important, and at the same time it allows them to not face painful realities, and you know um, and things that they actually should take care of, okay, their own life. So I don't talk about the Illuminati because what's that going to do for you, if I may ask? I mean, you can listen to 50 other channels talking about the fucking Illuminati, but how is that going to help you in your personal life, if I may ask? It's not going to help you at all right? So like I said, generally speaking, people come in two categories: those that focus on what they can control and what they actually know about, and the rest. The people that don't focus on their own life and what they can control, they're they're not very uh, powerful people, and that's why I don't want to talk about that. If I want to entertain that, I'm going to attract a certain crowd. You see what I mean? And I don't want to attract that type of crowd. I've worked very hard to keep psychopaths out, and I still get them from time to time. See, so that's why I don't talk about that. Ego is necessary to navigate society, the society we live in. You just need to be aware of it and be able to detach when necessary. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. There's no point worrying about the Illuminati and the government and then being broke, having to depend on the government. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, guys. Pre-incarnation, do we get to choose what body will we incarnate in, or how our life loosely plays out, etc.? Well, I'm not going to cover that right now. I'm probably going to go live again this week. We'll see. By the end of this month, which is approaching soon, we're going to have a seminar, protection. Okay, we want to definitely be on there. Okay, Rossi, please post the link again here in the chat. In the chat, you're going to see in a couple seconds. You're going to see the link for the psychic protection seminar, and make it happen. Be there if you can. It's not going to come back. I'm not going to be available very soon anymore. Okay, at least not through the rail, and not for teachings about magic. I'm not going to be available for that anymore. So you want to take advantage of that now, as long as I'm still here. And I'm not kidding about that. That's not a pitch here. So if you got to make payments, we can talk about that. But make sure that you're on. Make sure that you're on. You're going to miss out big time if you don't make it. Ashley says, "Good evening, handsome. Hope all is well. Always great to hear your info. Any info from you." Well, thank you, Ashley. You're not that bad yourself. Appreciate that. Thank you, boss. Always great life. Always a great life. Yeah. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye.